So we've definitely covered a lot of ground in this webinar, and I'm sure that many of you have questions that you want answered. Well, of course, I'm going to answer the questions that you've sent to me after this webinar has finished, but let's have a look at the most common questions that most people are asking about. Here we go. Now, this is the most common question. What is LSI? I've heard that Google does use it or doesn't use it. In fact, there's quite a few divided opinions on this as expressed in the questions. So let me answer this directly. LSI is a computer algorithm that discovers the relationships between words. Computers don't process words the same way that we do as human beings. When we read words, we get a deep sense of its meaning. We can appreciate the subtle ways that the words on a page work together to create a story or to explain an article or get a topic across. Computers just see a series of letters. This can be a problem. Because words have several meanings, it's possible for a search engine to return the wrong type of results. For example, the word duck can mean a water bird, and it can also be a warning to lower your head down. So if you're searching for information about duck and cover, you wouldn't want to see pages about recipes or feather-stuffed bed covers. Artificial intelligence research hasn't reached the point yet where computers can really understand the meanings of words. But computer scientists have invented some very effective statistical ways that help computers to guess what words go together. In other words, they're shortcuts. So on a page about farming, the word duck probably refers to an animal. On a page about bombs, the other meaning is more likely. So computers are able to analyze billions of pages of content to find the words that naturally go together. They can understand the statistical relationship between these words. That doesn't mean they understand the true meaning of the words, the semantics, but they can look at the natural or latent relationship between these words. They track these relationships using a number system or index. So latent semantic indexing is a method that discovers these numbers and uses them to work out what a document is about. LSI is one specific algorithm, and there are lots of alternative ones that have been developed by other researchers. Google has never confirmed which algorithm they use because it would help spammers to manipulate the results. But they did buy a company that had done a lot of work specifically on the LSI algorithm. To us, as SEOs, it doesn't really matter if Google uses LSI or one of the similar algorithms. We know that they do use a relationship between words to understand how relevant a page is for a specific search, and we know that from experimentation and from looking at the current top 10 results for any particular keyword. So it's important to discover and use the words that are relevant in our own content. Okay, second question. Explain accidental keyword stuffing again. Okay, so the most blatant content spam method from the past is simply to stuff a keyword into a page over and over again. You wouldn't think that something so obvious would work, but it actually did used to work really well at some early point in the late 90s basically. But search engines quickly discovered this trick, and it has been penalized ever since then. It's possible to accidentally trigger the keyword stuffing algorithm when you accidentally stuff keywords into your content. Maybe you're being a little bit enthusiastic about using your keyword phrase in different sections of your article. Another way to accidentally stuff keywords into your page is by using long tail keywords. So if your main keyword is piano tuner, then you might be tempted to include several different long tail variations like experienced piano tuner, certified piano tuner, fast piano tuner, highly recommended piano tuner, grand piano tuner for hire, and find a piano tuner. The problem with using all of these phrases as they are is that they all include the words piano tuner. So if you use this list of words on your page, you would fill it with 7 extra instances of piano tuner, which could possibly trigger that keyword stuffing penalty. Instead, you should use the piano tuner keyword carefully throughout your article, and then use the supporting words in different sections of your article to flesh it out. So these words are experienced, certified, fast, highly recommended, grand piano, for hire, and find. So let's imagine you do that really well, and then later a user searches for highly recommended piano tuner. Google is smart enough to understand that your page is all about piano tuner. It will also recognize the phrase highly recommended, and your page scores highly for both of these. So it means your page will have a very high relevance for that specific long tail keyword, highly recommended piano tuner. It will stand a good chance of ranking well. So the words of the long tail keyword phrase don't have to be joined together directly. Okay, next question. Question number 3. I heard that each page can only rank for a single keyword. Shouldn't you focus on one keyword for each page? Well, essentially we are focusing on one keyword, but that doesn't mean that it can only rank for a single keyword. The idea that it can goes back to a time when it was common to build websites with hundreds or thousands of pages. The content would be auto-generated or scraped from other websites, and the quality of the content was very low. But the search engines did rank those pages. Even at that time, a single page could rank for thousands of different keyword phrases. Search engines don't look at a page and file it under a single word or phrase. They're much more sophisticated than that. Instead, they track every word on the page. When someone searches Google, it looks for all the pages that contain those words or phrases. Then it works out which ones are the most relevant. Pages that include all the words are more relevant than others, but the LSI keywords or algorithm and other quality factors are also taken into account. Then Google uses its PageRank score and other weighting factors to bring the best sites to the top of the list. This means that any page on the internet can rank for almost any combination of the words on that page, and even words that are not on the page but are contained in links pointing to that page. In fact, over the last couple of years, Google has become even better at recognizing synonyms. So if your page says how to cook pasta, you could still rank well for pasta recipe. If your page includes words that are commonly used together, you have a better chance of ranking highly for these search terms. This is why we looked at supporting words. If you made a point of only using words that are rarely used together, it's unlikely you would rank for anything. For example, a page full of random phrases like ankle, hammer, banana, door, confusion would rank really well if someone typed that phrase in, but I doubt anyone will ever search for such a meaningless combination of words. If they did, they would just see a random collection of sites. Okay, question 4. What about competition, commercial intent, and search trends? It's true, it's important to measure these things for your main keywords before you write your content. But first you have to have a diverse list of keywords to analyze, and that's what today's webinar was all about. In the next webinar, we'll look at how profitable your keywords could be. There are different ways to work out which keywords will send profitable traffic and which ones are a waste of your time. Some traffic is more valuable and other traffic is relatively worthless. If you could choose between ranking number 1 for buy diamonds or free beer, which would you choose? Do you think you would make more money selling diamonds or giving away beer? Of course, that's a really obvious question. Usually it's much harder to decide between keywords, and this is where data from Google and other sources is especially valuable. Okay, 5th question. Can't I get an app to do all this work for me? Well, I wish that was true. Maybe in the future it will be possible when artificial intelligence has improved, but for now, humans are still smarter than computers. Of course, that's a good thing, really. But the keyword research job isn't that hard to do. In fact, it's quite fast, and I enjoy doing it. And many other people do too. Some people say it's their favourite part of SEO. So, in the past, we were taught to be bottom feeders, like the fish that live at the bottom of the sea, eating the leftovers from the other fishes. We weren't supposed to choose the hard keywords. It was more possible to build thousands of low-quality pages and promote them using fake low-value links. With that kind of tactic, it was actually impossible to rank for the competitive high-traffic searches even in those earlier days when the spammy methods were more successful. SEO was all about finding the easiest keywords in those days. It would usually mean analysing thousands or millions of words. Gathering all of that data and performing all those calculations by hand was impossible. We needed tools, and that's why we came to depend on these tools that gather so many millions of keywords and statistics and do number crunching and all that stuff. Today, we're much more ambitious. We focus on tougher keywords, and that actually makes our keyword research job easier. We don't need to carefully weigh millions of obscure search terms. Instead, we pick a body phrase, which might be tough, and then we go for it using the best methods that we can, and we get great results and lots of traffic.